have something so juicy today. When it comes to talking about peace, you cannot surpass Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. for showing us the way, for telling us the way. So I'm going to read this because it's kind of long, and I want you to hear it the way that he wrote it. To our most bitter opponents, we say, we will match your capacity to inflict suffering by our capacity to endure suffering. We shall meet your physical force with soul force. Do to us what you will, and we shall continue to love you. We cannot, in all good conscience, obey your unjust laws, because non-cooperation with evil is as much a moral obligation as is cooperation with good. Throw us in jail, and we shall still love you. Bomb our homes and threaten our children, and we shall still love you. Send your hooded perpetrators of violence into our communities at the midnight hour and beat us and leave us half dead, and we shall still love you. But be assured that we will wear you down by our capacity to suffer. One day we shall win freedom, but not only for ourselves. We shall so appeal to your heart and conscience that we shall win you in the process. And our victory will be a double victory. I'm not sure what I could add to those words, but I'm going to say a couple things anyway. Our capacity for suffering. This doesn't mean that we need to walk around all the time, every day, suffering and never heal ourselves or stand up for ourselves. And of course, Martin Luther King, Dr. King and his people were definitely standing up for themselves and for what was right, for freedom. But sometimes in the world there become situations that are so big that the usual way of handling them, they're bigger than us. And we have to reach the deepest kinds, the most radical kinds of love that there is. And just if you think of any situation where you feel threatened in this world, what is the most radical, loving, free thing that you can do for yourself and the other person or group? Not the fight, not the being right or getting your rights, or although they were definitely working on their rights, but just get really radical with that love. When we talk about oppressors, there is no us and them. There's only us. If there are oppressors, it's us. And we're all complicit in one way. And even if, we're out in society trying to undo some oppression there, how are we doing when we go back home? Do we act dominant at home and with other people in our personal lives? That's just one example. I mean, it's easy to accuse a far place, but it's harder to examine ourselves, how we're participating in littler things, like how do we treat our children or our neighbors. But the oppressor isn't going to be destroyed by getting rid of them or by thrashing them. The oppressor is going to be destroyed by becoming our brother, because the oppressor is not free also. If there is an oppressor and those who are oppressed, they're both unfree. They both do not understand what love is. And it is only in that process of becoming free and causing yourself to become unoppressed that the oppressor is also freed. And Dr. King's, he said, we are reconciling. We are not going to create a separation between our brothers. When they did the bus boycott, he was so very careful. He said, we are not going to sit at the back of the bus, but we're also not going to make them sit at the back of the bus as the balance. That's not the balance. We're not going to sit at the back of the bus. Nobody's going to sit at the back of the bus. We're all going to sit where we want to on the bus, and we're going to be brothers together on the bus. We're not going to hold the past against our oppressors. We're not going to hold their oppression against them. We're going to free us all. And we need a little bit of that level of strength and courage and humility and radicalness, because we are having other responses to things that are threats or that we think are threats. We are having other responses right now, and they're not good enough for this time. 2019, to still be in war, to still think like a 2-year-old, that's mine, give it back, slap, you know? I don't think there's been a better example than Dr. King. He's written a lot of things, so it's all there to be read, if we will. It needs to be taught in schools. So think about that, and we'll see you.